Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of DU Greekcast. I'm your host, Cameron Lowe, and also president of Kappa Alpha Order. I'm joined here today with Lambda Chi Alpha's Recruitment Chair, Ryan McFail.
Hello.
Sigma Nu's Recruitment Chair, Jovani Alvarez.
Howdy.
And Kappa Alpha Order's Recruitment Chair, Layne Clubb. How are y'all feeling today?
Not too bad. How are you?
Not too bad. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Glad you guys could join today. Just a reminder, this podcast is just going to be me talking to different members of each chapter each week, talking about what it's like to be in a fraternity here at Drury University, and hopefully answer any questions people might have and to shine some light on these chapters here. So each week, we're also going to be doing a trivia question, a Greek life trivia question, and this week's Greek life trivia question is, what are the names of the three past Greek organizations at Drury that no longer exist?
I know John Beuerlein was in the fraternity. I don't remember the name of the fraternity.
I know Alpha Phi was one, right?
That sounds
Alpha
right.
Phi was a sorority, yes.
Good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Yes, there was a SIG up here, yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
that was it.
I didn't know that one.
Is it Phi Kappa Sigma?
It is. Isn't it crazy how I
Man.
print off the script and Layne Clubb takes a look at it?
You got to use your resources.
There you go.
Well, that's going to be this week's Greek trivia question. Thank you, Layne, for answering.
You're welcome.
All right. So we're also going to talk about everybody's social events they got coming up. So what do you guys got coming up that you want to promote this week?
October 7th, Lambda Chi is hosting Watermelon Fest. That's our biggest philanthropy of the year. Basically do like minute to win it games, but with watermelon. So we'll have things like that going on. So that'll be pretty fun.
We have a street cleaning next Tuesday for our community service. It's one of the cousins of our alumni, and so we usually go over every year and we help clean his neighborhood street. We also have a event. It'll be yard games on Sunday Field as well as next week.
What yard games you got?
So we'll have die, cornhole, and any other games that, any of the other guests want to bring.
Can anybody go to that? Like, could I go?
Yeah, that'll be an open invite.
cool,
Open invites all. So any
Sounds
interested,
fun.
feel free to pop out.
Yeah, club.
The only one I got right now on the schedule is October 31st. We'll have our annual haunted house for our philanthropy event. It'll be a good time. Make sure you guys all come out and support.
All right. So why you joined section. First thing I'm going to be asking anyone that comes on this podcast is why you joined a fraternity and how it's impacted your college experience. So, Ryan, you want to get into that first?
Yeah, sure thing. So when I came to Drury, I really didn't know what a fraternity was, to be honest with you. I had no interest in rushing. My dad was Lambda Chi here at Drury 20 years ago. And so, I'd known he was in a fraternity, and I had a little interest, but not a whole lot. And then my suite mates said they were going to go to the recruitment events, kind of see what it was like. I went to only Lambda Chi events, so I suicide rushed Lambda Chi. I knew that if I joined one, it'd be the one my dad was in. And so because of that, I got to know some of the guys, and I joined, and it's the best decision I've made since I've come to Drury. I really have enjoyed all the things I've gotten to do through being with Lambda Chi and all the people I've met. So it's a big deal.
Does your dad come to any of the alumni events?
He does, yeah. He's pretty active, so it's pretty cool to see him around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jovani?
Yeah, similar to Ryan, I also, coming into college, I didn't have any idea what, Greek life was about. Again, one of my buddies, he was interested in attending the events and whatnot, and so I decided to give it a shot. I I suicide rushed Sigma Nu, and so getting to meet this group of guys, I knew immediately straight out of the gate that it was a group that I wanted to be with, and so just the connections that I've been able to gain from them and the experiences, the memories for sure that I'll be able to continue to build off of from, it's just... That's how really it's been shaping it all, and so the future and how I'll be able to use them.
Yeah, definitely. Layne?
Kind of like them too. Like I came to college, I didn't know anybody here just in general. I kind of had no interest whatsoever in joining a fraternity or Greek life whatsoever. And I met, if you guys know, John Gray on move-in day actually, and he was like, "You gonna go to Rush?" And I was like, "Nah, probably not, man." And he talked me into it, and my roommate last year, Mason Hubner, we decided to go to all the events together. And even after going to the events, I was still kind of hesitant. Mr. Cameron Lowe talked me into not waiting until spring and told me just to try it out. And if it's not my thing, you could always stop. And I'm glad I tried it out when I did because I got no regrets. I kind of went in all in and put all my chips in, and it worked out. I definitely know a lot more people here on campus. It's put me in a lot of good positions. So yeah, it's I don't regret it one bit.
Walk me through your guys' first time of like going through one of the houses here and what your thoughts were before and then like after.
Well, to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised in the quality of the houses. You know, I heard it's a frat house, and I'm like, oh, there's going to be holes in the walls and everything. And, you know, they've got their dents and everything, but, you know, they're only 20 years old. They're not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, I don't remember the first time I went through the house. It was probably after I rushed, just going to the events, and then afterwards is when I actually started going around the house and being introduced to things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, similar to Ryan as well. Although I think the first time I was in one of the houses, it was definitely during rush week. I went to the Sigma Nu house. I saw football, you know, their grand room and whatnot, and it was quite the experience for sure. You know, going to the this mansion essentially, it's quite the experience, and so it was pretty neat to see what it looked like around. So
we went as like a whole group and we toured all of them at the same time. I think it was right after the DFC event during rush week. And getting to see all the houses at once was really cool because, you know, you get to see, like, man, I like this about this one. I like this about this one. You got to meet all the guys at once, too. So they were all there ready for you, ready to meet you. It's the first year back from COVID, so that makes a lot of sense. But I remember just thinking, all these guys live in this house. It's pretty clean, you know? And, like, I'm not a super dirty person, but I remember thinking, like Ryan said earlier, like, you think of a fraternity house, you're like, why is everything not broken? And why is there not cans everywhere? But no, it wasn't like that. It's like a fine like house group of guys that keep their stuff together and keep it looking nice.
Yeah. I think for me, I was expecting like, you know, the white pillar columns in front and then like, you know, the big lawn and everything. And so when I got there, I was just kind of like, this is not what I was expecting at all.
I didn't expect the quad either.
Yeah. And the first house I actually went to was the LCA house. Byron showed me around. Yeah. I think it was during one of the recruitment events. So you guys are also your guys' recruitment chairs. So you didn't just wake up and think, man, I'm going to be recruitment chair. So walk me through where you guys were and how you guys chose to be recruitment chairs.
Yeah. So going into spring semester last year, that's when we hold our elections. And I knew that I wanted to hold some sort of officer position. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get into like the deep stuff yet. So I figured recruitment would be a fun way to kind of, you know, dip my toes in without having that year-long commitment in a way, which I actually was incorrect in thinking that because recruitment is, you're constantly going for recruitment. But I figured recruitment would be a good way to get in the door, kind of learn a little bit. It also, you know, helps with my personal studying because I want to go into the field of business. So, you know, personal marketing and you know, trying to sell joining a fraternity to someone. So that kind of helped with my studies in a way as well. But yeah, definitely just trying to open further doors.
Yeah, that's a good connection.
What did it for me was my experience through rush week. Going into elections, I knew I was pretty dead set on wanting to be the next recruitment chair. I had a great experience going through rush, you know, getting to meet the guys and just like how open-minded they were and just, you know, answering straight up how everything is and just being able to meet the, you know, incoming generations as well and let them know what Greek life is about, regardless of which chapter they're interested in. Because, you know, as long as we can get, you know, these numbers up, I mean, it's just a matter of making Greek life a better experience for them all. And so, yeah, just being able to meet the new incoming classes is what I really was most looking forward to.
All right, Layne.
Yeah,
You can tell the actual story if you'd like.
All right. Well, actually, the actual story is that I was our treasurer the year before. I'm a junior, and our president elects numbers 4 through 9. And I told him I was not going to be the treasurer again because it stressed me out my freshman year. Not just because it was hard, but because of having to deal with finances, and I was also finance major, and I noticed what he did there. But I told him I didn't want to be treasurer anymore, and he was like, what about recruitment chair? And I was like, yeah, that's right up my alley. And anyone who knows me, I've always been a very outgoing person, and most people know me around just because I'm just loud, and I make a way to talk to them in some way, shape, or form, whether it's from a friend or so most people know me around here. So I was like, I could use that to my advantage for recruiting, and not just for like my chapter specifically, but for just recruiting in general. There's like, oh, that guy's in Greek life. He's a loud dude, you know, he seems cool. Let's go to events. He told me to go to these events. Let's go to events. Once I was given the chair, I noticed that it fit perfectly, and it was a good spot for me to be.
All right, we're going to get into what fraternity recruitment is, or rush. So What is it like for people who wouldn't know what it is?
Well, it's in my opinion, it's just a good way of getting to know people. You just kind of go to these different events that each fraternity puts on. So in our case, we had 12 events, a couple per each chapter, and then you get to talk to some of the guys. Whether it's, I know my fraternity, we catered in food, so we just ate food and talked to guys, and a lot of other fraternities do things like that. So different events you just go to and meet people, kind of see what group you best fit in with.
Really well said. I mean, yeah, it's a period where all the different fraternities get to host these events. You get to meet the new guys, potential new members, introduce them to the chapter, let them know what they need to know in regard to their questions and all their interests and comments. And so, like Ryan said, I mean, it's all about the events and who they're most interested, who they fit with, and that's just most importantly what you want to help them with. Try to get them with the group of guys that they mend and mesh well with. So
yeah, I think they did a good job. Also, like, there's no commitment to rush or recruitment. Just going to events and meeting the guys and getting your free stuff. Like, that's not saying for sure, yeah, I'm joining this fraternity or I'm joining a fraternity in general. So, I mean, it's just a good way to meet people and start getting involved and putting your foot in the door.
Yeah, piggyback off what Layne had to say. That is something we tell like every P&M is just come out, just check it out. There's no commitment whatsoever. You don't have to join a fraternity just to go through recruitment. It's just getting to meet some guys and getting some free stuff. And a lot of people like free stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I was a new member, walk me through the recruitment process, like what it looks like and what the importance of this process is. Layne, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so the recruitment process is pretty simple. The first night is always just kind of like a DFC event. So that's just for you to meet your Drury Fraternal Council, like execs. All the chapters are there. Normally it's something very small with food to get people to show up. And then every night of the week is a different fraternity's event. So, like, for example, our last event was on the first night, and it was kickball and picklemans, And then we didn't have an event the next day, but we did the next day. So each chapter holds, like, 2 events, which we just changed this year. This was our first year for this. I think it went well. But every chapter gets 2 events, and then you get what you call an invitational round. So an invitational round is basically a chapter saying that they are interested in you, and then you going to their invitationals, you saying, I'm interested in that chapter as well. So you're not just, it gives meaning to the bids. It's not like you just throwing out bids to anyone and they just have no idea or no like want to join your chapter. So it adds a little bit more importance to that. And then once the invitational was over, we had to submit our bids in, and then we met up in the quad and we had bid day. And then that's when the potential new members went and signed their bids and came to their new home.
One of you guys want to walk through what bid day is like? The energy there and everything.
Yeah, no, bid day is amazing. This is when you get to find out which chapter you're a part of. And so it's amazing the feeling of, being able to experience all the different groups of guys and how they interact with their incoming classes and whatnot. And it's just a really great way of, being able to be at the quad all together and get to see what, it's going to be all about, because you're going to be a part of this big picture of what is Greek life. So.
Yeah, you have anything to add on that, Ryan? Or
No, I think Jovani hit it right on the head there. That's the first time, in each of the individual events, you're just with one chapter, but with bid day, all the chapters are out there. Everyone's cheering, everyone's happy, excited. It's a different energy. It's pretty cool.
It's the excitement just to see Greek life winning, like just to see everybody who showed up for their bids, to see how many potential new members you got out there. Like, you just get something about it just fires you up, and you're just ready.
Yeah, there's definitely a competitive aspect to recruitment as well. I think you all could agree. I don't know, with me, I'm a really competitive person, and so when it comes to this, my competitive side comes out, and I don't think things get that ugly, but like we do have our differences from time to time there for sure.
I would say, like, for sure, we want to see Greek life succeed, but there's always those guys you're like, that this is a perfect fit for my chapter, and you're just praying they see it too. Yeah. But even though just seeing them go to Greek life, it's still a win. It's still a win just to see that they're in Greek life.
Yeah, it is a win because COVID really hit us, and it was not going so well. But I mean, I feel like we've made some significant strides coming out of this, and just being able to have events like 2 years ago. It really helpful. So you hit on this earlier a little bit about recruitment just being a year-long thing. So you want to tell us what you mean by that for people that might not know?
For sure, yeah. So recruitment, like the main week, rush week, that's when everyone thinks that that's when everything's happening. But it's really months preparation, getting your events planned out, ordering shirts, whatever it may be, communicating with the guys, incoming freshmen, reaching out to them, inviting them to do things. There's a ton of planning that goes into it, budgeting, different things like that. So it's not just setting the events, going for the week, and then you're done. And then even after bid day, the school has continuous open bidding, so we can still give out bids. So if anybody's interested, they can still come around the houses, get bids any other time. So it's not just during that week at all.
How do y'all prepare for recruitment week? So Jovani, you want to start us off with that one?
Yeah, so specifically my chapter, what we do is we have a workshop months prior. And so what we'll do is we'll go over recruitment, the basics. It just boils down to really how you're talking to these guys, how you're contacting them, what you should say, what they need to know. As Ryan said, I mean, it's just a lot of preparation that goes into the events. Like I said, contacting these guys, and more so, just importantly, just that.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a year-round thing. Looking at it from the outside, I thought, I just have to do something for 2 weeks and I'm good to go. I found out that is not the case, and honestly, I kind of like it because, it shows in recruitment how much work you put into it. If you just think it's a 1 week thing, you're going to get a 1 week result. So we spent a lot of time, just like Jovani was saying, we had workshops months before. We had events planned out months before. We had our chapter's advice on events. We had talked to them, and it, like Jovani said, it's how you talk to them, what you tell them, and you make sure you're honest with them. You want them to know everything before they step in, and so they're not blindsided by something later in the fact. So you got to be just completely honest. And then, this year we had Greek work week, which we were here a week early, and we spent almost that entire week with multiple rush sessions, just reiterating everything I had said from the start. And as soon as spring rush ended, we were already focused on fall. It was already ready to go. And this was months in advance. And I know every chapter is the same way.
Yeah, that work week, we really took some big strides there. I think it was very helpful. For people that might not know, work week is just time for us to prepare for recruitment coming up, getting things ready, preparing, doing some meetings and everything, cleaning up the houses. And I think it was really, really successful for our chapter. I don't know about how you guys feel about how it went.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. In your guys' minds, what is the best part of recruitment?
For me, for sure, it'd be just meeting the guys, meeting all the new guys that are coming in, and just getting to know them, seeing their interests, what they like, and what they enjoy doing and whatnot. Like I said, my experience was amazing, and so being able to go along with these new guys as well and be a part of their experience is for sure the best part in my opinion.
Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm a social person, so just talking to everybody and getting to know them and where they're from or what they like to do, interests, different stuff like that excites me to get to know more people and networking around. And then not everybody's gonna fit your chapter, you might talk to somebody, you're I don't know, and they might be, I don't think so, but hey, you still met them, you know who they are, you're friends, you eat together, it's just, I think you make a lot of friends during it. So that's my favorite part, is just getting to know everybody and becoming friends.
And it doesn't just help the incoming freshmen, the active members. It helps the incoming freshmen as well, because, coming to college, you might not know that many people, might have a buddy from high school, whatever it may be. But, getting to know people in fraternities, whether you rush, whether you don't, you'll still have those connections. So that's a big deal. It's the connections, especially at Drury. It's such a small campus. I see Layne every half hour. It feels like he's everywhere. So I meet people like that all the time, and I just see them everywhere, and that makes a big difference.
I am everywhere.
You are everywhere.
Yeah. Was Layne your O leader?
He was.
Okay.
No,
okay.
he was my Ignite leader.
I met Ryan during Ignite over the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say it was a good reason why you joined as well?
Him and Byron King were my
Him and
Ignite
Byron,
leaders.
oh my
So,
We definitely hit on it a lot in
Yes.
those van rides. There were about like 8 guys in total at Ignite out of like 40. So our van was just all the dudes, and me and Byron were just like, yeah, Greek life for like hours.
Yep.
So we are different than a lot of those bigger schools too. This is something that I like to hit on in the podcast is the differences between us at Drury and bigger schools. So how does it different than those bigger schools in your guys' mind? And what are the pros and the cons you think in your mind?
Well, I definitely, one pro is because we are as small as we are. So like you take going to like Mizzou, for example, there's no way every guy in that chapter is going to know every single like PNM you're wanting in your chapter. So they're not, whether they might know their name, but they don't know them on like a basis we get to know them here. I feel like with it as being as small as a campus as it is, we have a better chance of getting to know who the people are, and for sure that these are the type of guys we want in our chapter. So I would say that's a definite pro, that we get that interaction more.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's for sure the size difference. Some might argue that it isn't a pro, but I'd say it is for sure. Like Layne mentioned, it's a smaller group. Your chapter gets to know just about all the P&Ms that you get to meet with, and just being able to introduce them to your chapter. Like he said, if it was Mizzou, you'd be having like I don't know how big those frats might be, but I'm sure they're pushing it up there. And so, just trying to get all those guys to get to meet all these, it's just sounds like it'd be impossible, or at least on a personal level. So for sure, it being a smaller school, I think it's definitely an advantage.
Yeah, meeting some of your best friends, and they've definitely, I could say, are going to be my lifelong friends, and I could definitely see them 30 years down the road, and I mean, we'd be talking for hours.
Yeah.
Weddings would be crazy. I can't imagine. Just more on the fun side, what's your guys' favorite story for Greek life?
Well, I'm not honestly sure if I have a story specifically. It's hard to tell. There's so many just fun times I've had hanging out with the guys, whether it's a party, whether it's just sitting in some guy's suite, playing Minecraft. I don't even know, all these sort of different things. You never really know what's going to happen. I remember I was at the house my freshman year. I like just rushed. I was just walking around, and some dude just started like screaming, and you just never know what to expect with it. And so it's just a ton of fun. Just the whole experience is just different. So it's a lot of fun.
You guys play Minecraft?
We do play Minecraft. Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, you guys had a
Yeah,
Minecraft
so do I.
thing going.
We got a little world going.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Do you imagine like a little PvP between all the
Oh,
chapters?
yeah.
That'd be
Host a
fun.
little
Who's
event.
buying the realm? All right.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I'm broke.
Might take one for the team, not gonna lie. But for sure, like Ryan mentioned, I mean, a lot of the things are spontaneous. But for me, for sure, during my candidacy, there was this time when it was during our Sadie's week actually, which is just one of our traditions, Sigma Nu, and we'll have this week of events. We'll build a barn face in front of the house, and we'll have our hay bales stacked up on the back porch. But I remember it was towards the end of the night, I had sat down with my president, Will Christie, or I guess now current president. At the time he wasn't, and we just had it was a heart to heart conversation, and it really changed my perspective on the way that I saw joining the fraternity. It just hit the nail right on the head. I mean, I was just for sure determined to make it through. And then, like I said, even now I tend to look back at that conversation and the way that he, was talking to me and telling me how it was for him as well. And, at one point, I could totally see myself running for a top position just because of that conversation. Just the impact on little things not even little things like that. It's crazy how big of a scale they could turn into. And so it's just more so the conversations that I would put together as my favorite for sure.
No, I love those too.
Yeah.
Just you'd think it'd be the most random conversation, the random time and everything, and it ends up holding the most meaning to you. And it's those moments, and some people might not even realize that how much weight that holds for you.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. That's awesome.
Like Jovani said, there's a lot of those times where you're just a random Wednesday night and you're just chilling with the boys and we start talking and we just get deep in thought, and those are those moments that you'll never forget, And then there's always like the cabin trips we do as a chapter. I was stressing about one of my tests, so Dax gave me a haircut in my own bathroom one time. I honestly, bid day, not just mine, mine was, I wasn't even here for my own. I was shooting, so I don't have that memory, but I have the memory of running back with last year's and then watching this year's run up. Like those are kind of things that you see and you're just like, man, this was probably the best decision I've ever made.
You wanna show everyone your haircut? Or I mean,
it's been
still,
touched up a little
yeah.
bit, and it's got the hat hair, but yeah, Dax did me right. I went and got it professionally done once it growed out a lot, and she was like, "Who cut your hair?" And I was like, "My fraternity brother in my bathroom." And she was like, "No, who actually cut your hair?" And I was like, "My fraternity brother in my bathroom."
So Dax Cuts, hit him up. He's on
good.
Instagram.
He's good.
Yep. Well, I mean, for me, yeah, those conversations and everything, and I think last time I said POL. That's always a lot of fun. Doing anything that those sororities put on, and then just like freshman year, Ricky did. He did the WAP.
Yeah, big man on campus.
Big man on campus, and he won.
He won.
So we all showed up and supported him. Just moments like that, spontaneousness for sure. That's my favorite part.
I swear nothing is ever planned.
No, nothing is.
Yeah, you walk. You think you have a plan, and then you go to a different room, and your plans change as soon as you walk in. Like, it's not like it's a bad thing. Like that's a great thing. Like spontaneous is so fun.
Yeah, you'll sit down and then you're deep in conversation about Christianity or God.
Multiple times.
With Aaron, yes, multiple times.
I heard that.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
All right, that's going to be all for the second episode of DU Greekcast. Thank you all for watching. Thank you guys for being here. This has been really fun. A new episode's going to be coming out every Monday at 7, and this is all leading up to a live podcast I'm going to be doing with Drury's President John Beuerlein, Associate Dean of Students Chip Parker, and Director of Greek Life Anna Stark. This live event is also going to be held in the FSC Ballroom October 17th at 7 p.m. And remember to check out all these guys' events. We're going to be doing some really cool events here at Greek Life. That's all for this episode. I'll see you guys next time.